Welcome to the Conscious Professional Podcast. I'm Renee Frey, founder of Talent Q, career matchmaker, and your guide to building a career and life you truly love. In a world where more professionals than ever are searching for meaning, I'm here to help you ditch the fluff, own your value, and step into the career you were made for. Whether you're new here or a longtime listener, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get intentional, get inspired, and let's grow together. Today, we're tackling a question I hear constantly. How do I create a fulfilling career and life? It's the million-dollar question, the one everyone is searching for, the one that keeps people up at night, and the one that most of us quietly wonder about while going through the motions of our day. We crave the answer, but the truth is, most of us are looking in the wrong places. Here's what usually happens. People convince themselves the solution is external. They say, if I just get a new job, if I just had a better boss, if I just made more money, then I'll finally feel fulfilled. And sure, those things might feel good for a while, but here's the reality. You don't have a job problem. You don't have a boss problem. You don't even have a paycheck problem. What you really have is a clarity problem. Because until you know what you truly want and what fulfillment actually looks like for you and why it matters, you'll keep chasing shiny solutions that never fix the real issue. Without clarity, you drift. You feel like you're working hard but not getting anywhere. But with clarity, everything changes. Your career moves make sense. Your confidence grows. Your relationships at work improve. And yes, even your paycheck starts to reflect the value you bring. Clarity is the foundation that everything else is built upon. In this episode, we're going to unpack what clarity really means, how to actually find it, and how having it shifts everything about the way you approach your career and your life. And here's the exciting part. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact formula that has transformed my own life, changed the trajectory of my clients' careers, and can absolutely do the same for you. Let's go! Don't get me wrong. I didn't always see it this way. I had to learn it the hard way. So let me take you back for a moment. In my mid-20s, I thought I was doing everything right. I was hustling, working 70 hours a week, saying yes to every opportunity. I pushed myself to be the top performer to outsell my peers across the country. From the outside, it looked like I was thriving. I was driving a new car, living in a big house, even had a yacht on the St. Croix River. My career, you'd think, was a solid 10 out of 10. Behind the picture perfect life, I was running on fumes. My relationships were suffering, my health was an afterthought, and I was completely exhausted, constantly teetering on the edge of burnout, like any moment I could blow. And that's when I realized success in one area doesn't equal fulfillment in your life. Maybe you felt this too. Maybe your career looks great on the outside, but underneath, something's missing. Here's the thing, our lives aren't just made up of work. They're made up of relationships, health, finances, spirituality, recreation. All of it matters. And when one area takes over and the rest get ignored, life gets lopsided. And that's when the tension creeps in, Burnout builds and you're left with that nagging feeling that something just isn't right. To feel fully fulfilled, we need to balance across all areas of life. Not perfection, but intentional attention to what matters most. Maybe you felt this too. Maybe you're in a job that pays the bills, but every Sunday night you feel that familiar dread, that pit in your stomach of Monday morning coming. Maybe you're endlessly applying online for jobs and hearing nothing back, starting to question your own value. Or maybe you've checked all the boxes. You got the promotion, the title, the raise, but deep down you're still asking, is this it? If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear me on this. You're not broken and you're not failing. What's really happening is you're out of balance. And balance, true fulfillment, doesn't just happen by accident. It's something we have to build intentionally. Here's the formula I've used in my own life and with my clients for years. Awareness, clarity, and commitment. Awareness leads to clarity, and clarity leads to commitment. Because first, you've got to see where you are. That's awareness. Once you see it, you can decide where you want to go. That's clarity. And once you're clear, you can commit to the daily actions that will get you there. Each step unlocks the next. If you skip one, you're going to stay stuck. Put them all together, and that's where the transformation happens. Now, I know you're thinking it sounds simple, but don't confuse simple with easy. This formula is powerful because it gets to the root of why so many ambitious professionals feel stuck. Think of it like this. Awareness is about turning the lights on. You can't change what you can't see. Clarity is about pointing your compass. You need to know where you actually want to go. And commitment, that's the fuel. It's what turns your vision into action day after day until the results start to show up in your life. Miss one of these steps and the whole thing falls apart. Awareness without clarity just leaves you overwhelmed. Clarity without commitment is just wishful thinking. And commitment without awareness can have you sprinting in the wrong direction. But when you put all three together, that's when the magic happens. That's when people stop drifting and start creating lives and careers they are actually excited to wake up to. Now, let's go deeper. We can't fix what we're not willing to face. And let's be honest, change is incredibly hard. Creating new behaviors is incredibly hard. Why? Because your brain is wired for survival, not fulfillment. So the second you start shifting routines, your brain goes into overdrive. It's screaming, wait, this isn't safe. We're going to die. That's why it feels so uncomfortable at first. Your mind throws up resistance. Circumstances pop up, excuses sneak in, and before you know it, you're tempted to abandon the very habits that would create the change you're looking for, just to retreat back to what feels safe to your brain. And this is exactly why I love the Wheel of Life exercise. It shines a light, a spotlight on the areas where you're at right now and makes the invisible visible. Once you see the imbalance, you can't unsee it. And that awareness is the first step towards lasting change. So let me ask you this. If a camera or even paparazzi followed you around for a full day, what would they capture? Where are you thriving? Where are you running on empty? Don't overthink it. Just trust your gut. And that's your starting point. And that's why the Wheel of Life exercise works. It shows you exactly which areas of your life are flat, like a tire that needs air. Because if one part of the wheel is deflated, that whole ride is going to feel bumpy. So here's my challenge for you. Grab a piece of paper, draw a big circle. Of course, only if you're not driving. And I want you to divide it into equal slices like you're slicing a pizza. Career, wealth, health, relationships, recreation, and spirituality. Now, here's how you're going to score it. Imagine the very center of the circle is 1, and the very edge of the circle is a 10. A higher score means you feel great in that area. A low score means it needs more attention. So if your career feels like it's thriving, maybe it's an 8 or a 9 near that outer edge. If your health is struggling, maybe that's a 3, closer to the middle of that circle. Once you've rated each slice, just mark it with a dot and then connect the dots around your circle. That shape is your wheel. And for most people, it's a little wobbly, like a tire that's not going to roll smoothly. When you're rating yourself, be honest. Don't overthink it. Don't sugarcoat it. Just go with your gut. This isn't about what you wish the number was or what it looks like to other people. It's about where you truly are today. When you step back and then you look at that finished wheel, ask yourself, would this wheel roll smoothly or would it feel like a bumpy ride? That's your snapshot. That's your awareness. It's you getting raw and really honest with yourself. And awareness matters because you can't fix what you can't see. And most of us run through life on autopilot, wondering why we're drained or unfulfilled. But we've actually never stopped to measure where we're out of balance. The wheel of life makes it crystal clear. It shows you exactly which areas are thriving and which ones are holding you back. And once you see it on paper, you can't unsee it. That's why this moment is so powerful, because it's the starting line for real change. Here's what happens. Most people see a lopsided wheel. Some areas are thriving, others are barely rolling. For me, in my 20s, my career was a 10, but my relationships, maybe a 4, my health, maybe a 5. My life was a tire and it was flat. And the same thing shows up with one of my clients. A gal reached out and rated herself a 9 in her career and a 9 in wealth, but her recreation and health were a 2. She told me, Renee, I can't even remember the last time I had fun. I'm too tired. That's the power of awareness. It's like turning on the light in the dark room. You can finally see where you're leaking energy. Now, awareness without direction just leaves you feeling stuck. That's why the second step is clarity. Once you know where you're imbalanced, the next step is point the compass towards what you actually want. That's where the 5-year vision exercise comes into place. I ask every single client to do this, and I do it myself. Here's how it works. You grab a piece of paper and you write it out all by hand. No typing, because handwriting engages your brain differently. It forces you to slow down and really connect with your answers. The questions are simple but powerful, and you can write this all down. Where are you living? What career are you in? How much money are you making? What does your morning routine look like? What kind of relationships are you in? How often are you traveling? And here's the kicker. Once you've answered all of that, I want you to write your responses in the present tense. So instead of saying, I want to make more money, you would write, I earn $150,000 a year doing work that energizes me. Instead of, someday, I want to live by water, you write, I live on the St. Croix River with a private beach and dock. get very, very specific. You might write, every winter I take my family skiing in Vail, Colorado. Why does this work? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between imagined and real. And when you write it as if it is already true, you're training your subconscious mind to believe it's possible. And let me tell you, this is where I see the biggest shift. Clients go from discouraged to excited, from confused to clear. They finally have a picture of the life they desire that they are moving toward. So here's my challenge for you. If money weren't an issue, what would your life look like 5 years from now? Write it down in very specific detail. That's your compass. And once you've written it, don't just leave it on the page. Visualize yourself there 5 years from today. Step into that future version of you. How does it feel in your body? How do you carry yourself? What energy do you bring into the room? Because when you can already feel as if it's already yours, you start showing up differently right now. And that's when things begin to shift. But here's the challenge with that darn 5-year vision. It feels so far away. That's why the third step is commitment. A 5-year dream is exciting, but how do you make it real? This is where we walk it back. Next, you'll write your 3-year vision. So think of it as your milestone check-in. If we met 3 years from today, what would you be celebrating? What would you have accomplished? Then break it down even further, walk it back to a 1-year vision. This is the one that keeps you on track day to day. And here's the kicker. You don't just write it once and put it in the drawer. You read your 1-year vision every single day. Yes, daily, because that's the vision close enough to feel real, but big enough to still stretch you. And just like that 5-year, write it all in the present tense, like it already happened. For example, you could write, I built my dream house on the St. Croix River. I reduced my short-term debt by $20,000. I took my family skiing in Vail, Colorado. I love my work and the company culture aligns with my values. When you do this, you're not just dreaming. You're creating a roadmap. Your 5-year vision sets the destination. Your 3-year and your 1-year visions create the milestones that keep you moving forward. You recite your 1-year vision every single day. Why do we focus on the 1 year? Because it's close enough to feel real, but big enough to stretch you. It becomes the bridge between where you are now and where you're headed. I personally do this myself every single day. On my iPhone, I created a photo album labeled Daily, and it's got screenshots of my 1-year vision. And I have an alarm on my phone that goes off at 8 a.m. every morning to read through what's in my daily album. And it only takes a couple of minutes, but it changes everything. It sets the tone for the day, keeps me focused on what matters, and reminds me of the future I'm building and headed towards. And why do I want you to do this? Because repetition rewires your beliefs. Think about it. Your brain has been running on the same script for years. I'm stuck. I can't change. This is how life is. That's BS. Those thoughts are grooves worn deep into your subconscious mind. And the only way to create new grooves and rewire it is to feed your brain a new script over and over until it becomes your default. When you read your vision daily, you're feeding your brain a new script. And I know at first it might feel a little silly, like you're just saying words on a page. But over time, something shifts. You don't just read the words, you start to feel them. You feel the excitement of waking up in that house, the pride of hitting that milestone, the freedom of living the life you designed. And here's the magic. When you feel it and begin to believe it, and when you believe it and you start to act like it, belief creates emotion, and emotion drives action. And action produces results. This is the loop most people get wrong. They think results come first. But the truth is, results come last. It starts with what you believe. That's why this daily practice matters so much. It helps you rewire your beliefs, shifting how you feel, changing how you act, and ultimately creates new results. Okay, I have a reflection for you. What's one daily practice you can commit to that will keep your vision alive? Maybe it's starting small, reading your vision, your 1-year vision every morning. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's closing your eyes and visualing for 5 minutes a day. Doesn't have to be big or complicated. It just has to be consistent, because it's not the grand gestures that create transformation. It's the small commitments you keep showing up for. So whatever it is, choose it and commit. And here's the key. Sticking with your commitment isn't just about building a habit. It's about building integrity with yourself. When you do what you say you will do, even in small ways, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, and that builds confidence, that strengthens self-esteem. And let me be clear, I know you're human. If you miss a day or two or a week, it is not the end of the world. Forgive yourself, leave it behind, get back up on that horse. What matters is you keep moving forward. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about showing up more often than you don't. And every time you follow through, you strengthen that muscle of self-trust. And I've seen this play out over and over with my clients. And let me share one story that really sticks with me. When Melissa came to me, she was stuck. Her job was fine on paper, but she had no energy, no spark, no direction. She told me, I just feel like I'm going through the motions, Renee. So we started with the wheel of life. She gave her career a 7, but recreation and relationships, a 3. That number hit her hard. And she looked at me and said, no wonder I feel empty. I've been pouring everything into work and leaving nothing for myself or the people that I love. Then we moved into her vision work, and she started with her 5-year vision. It felt so exciting for her, but felt so far away. She walked it back into a 3-year vision, which gave her milestones to aim for. And then she created her 1-year vision, which became her daily focus. She read that 1-year vision every single morning. She committed, even when it felt silly, even when doubt crept in. And here's the part that still gives me chills. Within 6 months, she landed a new role that paid her 40% more and gave her the flexibility she never thought she could have. She said to me, Renee, I can't believe how much of my vision already feels real. That's the power of awareness, clarity, and commitment. It doesn't just change your career. It changes the way you live, the way you show up, the way you believe in yourself again. So let's bring it all together. The secret formula for a fulfilling career in life is simple. Awareness through the wheel of life. Clarity through the 5-year vision. Commitment by breaking it down into the 3-year milestone and then focusing in on your 1-year vision, reading it, visualizing it, and truly feeling it every single day while taking consistent action toward it. That's it. 3 steps, simple, powerful, and life-changing when you actually do them. When you put these 3 steps together, you stop drifting and start creating. You move from imbalance and confusion to clarity and fulfillment. And that's when your career and your life begin to feel exciting again. This isn't just theory. It's practical, it's doable, and here's the truth. The hardest part isn't doing the work. The hardest part is deciding to start. So do the hard thing today. Face the imbalance, write the vision, commit to it daily. Because the career and life you dream of, it's not just possible. It's waiting for you to decide. So let me leave you with this. Which of the 3 steps, awareness, clarity, or commitment, do you need most right now? Pick one, start there, because the only way to build a fulfilling career in life is to begin. And trust me, your future self will thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Conscious Professional podcast. If today's episode resonated, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, stay conscious, stay inspired, and keep building the career and life you love.